Welcome back to Aquatic Australia. Today we're diving off the motor vessel Ballot and Jack with my buddy Chris. Our dive sites are both near Jackson Rock. This is part of a group called Stragglers Rocks and it's east of Rottnest. You can see the red marker. Jackson Rock has two peaks with a canyon in between, as well as many other caves, canyons and caverns. It's a lovely sight. The top of the reef is around 6 meters. The sand at the base of the reef is about 16 meters, and there are many vertical 10-meter walls. Walls like this crater rim, where our anchor chain lies at the top. It suddenly drops straight down 10 meters and then back up again the other side. There's a fairly strong swell today. The topography of the seabed amplifies this swell, especially near the edge of the cliffs or through small openings where the Bernoulli effect occurs. This is where the speed of a fluid increases in a flow restriction. This simply means you get thrown about a lot. The underside of caves and overhangs especially are covered in colourful soft coral sponges, Bryozoans and Ascidians. The grey lace coral shown here is a hard substance that feels hard like coral but is actually Bryozoa, a colony of tiny animals called zooids. Each about 1 millimeter in size, they create a framework of calcium carbonate. Sponges are actually a colony of small animals called Porifera. The lace coral shown here is a Bryozoan colony, and the soft coral sea fan is Gorgonian. It's a colony of Cnidarian polyps. Each of these three forms of animals, Porifera, sponges, Cnidarians and Bryozoan, are older than the dinosaurs. In a cavern we stop and hang out for a while. Chris hovers on his back, watching the exhaled bubbles run along the ceiling like mercury. From out of the gloom, Chris's video lights shine like a car's headlights. The site is wonderfully honeycombed with swim-throughs. And we pass from one small cavern to another and another continually. There are even multi-level caves on top of caves. We swim through a cave on the bottom level and rise up to a higher one. Deep, narrow gorges lead to more multi-level caves. We get to this lovely double cave, but time and air means it's a turning point, so we go through the cave, turn left and ascend to the top of the reef and head back to the boat around the top of the wall, back towards the boat. I said boat twice, so sue me. We find the anchor chain on the top of the wall, near the lip, and we make our way up, first doing our safety stops at 5 meters for 3 minutes. Hanging mid-water, doing our safety decompression stops, we watch all sorts of alien-looking jellies and plankton drift by. And remember, jellies are also family Cnidarians, similar to the corals we saw. We dive in waves, so that there's always some crew on the boat for safety. In between the dives, we relax and degas. But there's always someone on watch looking for divers and making sure passing boats heed the blue and white dive flag that means keep clear 100 meters. Our yellow safety boat is always tied up, ready to get divers in case of trouble. When divers come up, we stir to action, and we help them on board. What do you say, Colin? With our divers back on board and any crays recorded, sized and accounted for, we head to our next dive site. Second dive site is nearby. It's a site called the Arches. This reef had poorer viz and less topography, but it was still nice enough. We're anchored on sand to the northwest of the reef. I take a heading towards the reef and I note a prominent rock formation as my start and end point. We spot a hole in the reef wall that leads to the other side of the reef and we swim through it. Inside a chimney, I spot a dewfish, a popular fish for eating. We move through a multi-level, three-dimensional maze of holes and alleyways, occasionally seeing our mates in different buddy pairs from time to time. Sometimes we stop and say hello to each other and catch up in sign language, see what news there is. Sometimes that news is just, hey, look at the lobster I caught. No prizes for guessing what he's having for dinner tonight. Crayfishing is very popular. Western Australia has a huge sustainable catch and it's strictly regulated with size and bag limits, and it's very sustainable. We pass a break sea cod, another popular table fish, and again we see the array of wonderful corals and sponges underneath the ledges. Now we've come back around the reef and I feel we are near our start point, ready to navigate back out over the sand. I spot the rock and confirm my navigation, and I use my compass to head out into the green. And sure enough, after a short swim, measuring distance using fin strokes, and on a compass bearing, I find our anchor. Above us, what we jokingly call the yellow boat of shame, because to need it means you messed up your navigation, but we won't need that today. Surfacing at the stern, most divers take off their fins to climb the ladder. I use very short fins and prefer to keep mine on. The key to climbing the hinged ladder in swell is to get some weight on the ladder first to control it, then climb it as shown by Chris. Be sure to keep hands clear of pinch points like the hinge at the top of the ladder. Well, that's all for today. Please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for joining us again on Aquatic Australia. Let's take a look at the still photos from the day.